Yeah, that's a tugboat on an RC car channel, but here's the thing, it's really scale looking and it's also a retrieval boat. And since we do some boat reviews here on the channel, I thought you should see this in case you need a retrieval boat. So here's the Horizon Harbor 30-inch tugboat by ProBoat from Horizon Hobby, and it took me 12 tries to say that. This is a really cool looking tugboat, and I primarily got it because it is a retrieval boat. I'm going to show you the retrieval system in just a little bit, but after living with this for the past few days, preparing for this review, I'm really starting to like the look of this, and I think I'm just going to take it out as a tugboat on its own. It's just that good looking of a boat. I really like the detail on this. This thing is going to look fantastic on the shelf, and of course look really good out in the water. However, before we do that, we're of course going to go over all of the details. And the first thing I want to talk about is the packaging on this. This thing was pretty well packaged when I got it. There's a lot of foam to support it. It's tied down. Everything's taped in the box. Even the mast up there is removed from it and actually tied down to the foam inside the box. So from what I could tell, this was really well packaged, and I know some scale boats in the past, you know, they get banged up in shipping and stuff like that. They need to be returned or whatever because the parts were broken. But this came with no problem. No damage whatsoever to report. All right, with that said, let's start talking about the boat itself. And the only thing you need to purchase for this is the batteries and charger. It comes out of the box pretty much like this. You have to remove some tape, like I said. You do have to install the mast on top, but no painting, no detailing. It's already all done for you. The hull itself is a molded ABS hull painted from the factory, and it's got some really nice detail to it. Pretty simple for a tugboat. I mean, tugboats are pretty simple, I think. I'm not a tugboat expert, but you know, I like the little padding that they have on the front. This is kind of like a rubber padding, and I'm guessing that's part of the retrieval system there when they're pushing the boats in, you know, in real life, and actually when you're maybe pushing your RC boat into shore. You know, the lines here on the bottom where it's painted look really good. And then down here is, I think that's a strake. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, boat guys. We've got that for stabilization, I believe. And even the bottom here, the keel area, really nicely done. No problems with the seams or anything like that. I'll talk about the prop and everything in a little bit, but back up top here, you can just check out all the detail. We got nice railings. There's even LED lights. Yes, LED lights on the side of the cabin here, up on the mast. This thing is probably gonna look good at dusk as well. But you know, we've got our little life rings up here. We've got the anchor winch up front, tie downs and everything back here. This is some type of retrieval hook. Again, I'm not a tugboat guy. Some pulleys type stuff here as well. Again, I just want to go in and primarily retrieve boats with this, but again, I think I'm going to have some additional fun with it, just trolling around. Tires on the side. And that's really it. I mean, check out that detail work. It looks really, really nice. Again, if you're looking for something that will look good on the shelf as well, this is definitely a boat to consider. But all right, we got to talk about some more of the features of this thing. And let's get down to the bottom here. So this is a quart nozzle from what I gather. It takes the propulsion from the propeller and thrusts it out and gives this boat much more control, much more power at lower speeds. I guess that's for tugboat use. And again, I've never had one before, but this is a really cool looking setup. Doesn't seem to be any binding or anything like that. There is a single bell crank that I'll show you up above in a little bit, but behind it here, you can see the triple blade propeller. This is metal. I could kind of hear the metallic sound as I rub my finger up against it. But pretty cool looking setup, and I can't wait to see how that works, how much thrust this thing has, how much it could actually push. Let's pop open this hatch here so I could show you that bell crank I was talking about. There's the access for it in case you ever need to do any maintenance. And all these hatches are held on with magnets. Even this one here, this one pops off and has actually got a little seal on it as well. So a foam seal around the edge. There you can see the ABS plastic pretty well, but there is the servo. It is a metal geared servo from the factory. Just has a ProBoat logo on there, not a Spectrum logo. So that's kind of interesting as, you know, Horizon has rebranded a lot of their stuff. And then this front cabin area is also a magnet system to secure it. Let me just flip it over so you can see the underside. There is some of the wiring for the LED lights. This is all plastic as well. And now we can look down inside of the boat and check out some of the details. There you can see some of the molding marks from when they were molding this ABS plastic hull. The paint on this is really nice. There was only one spot that was scuffed up from the factory right there on the white, just some markings, not too big of a deal. But inside here is where we have the 700 size oversized motor to give this thing the torque that it needs. We've got a universal drive down to the output shaft there. It looks like we also have some sort of ballast box. Oh yeah, that's right. So the ballast comes already installed from the factory to keep this thing stable. And that's what I'm guessing these two boxes are right here. That must be the ballast inside. And then over here we have this 2-in-1 unit, which I guess as long as it works, I'm fine with that. You know, this isn't meant to be a speed demon. It's just meant to troll around the water and collect boats with. So hopefully that should work just fine. There's no branding on that from what I could tell. And then it is fitted with an IC connector. So you'll need a IC3 plug to adapt to that. Doesn't look like it has any smart technology to it. No third wire there. So even an EC3 connector would work. And then there's some extra plugs here. This is for the LED lights. We have our on-off switch. And that's really about it. This is a ballast hatch here as well. So again, everything is set from the factory. And then this tube right here is for the water pickup. So if you want to go and outfit this with a water pump, you'll actually be able to squirt water from the cannons on top of the cabin here. How cool is that? I kind of wish it came with it, but this thing carries a $450 price tag. So it's kind of already up there for some people, and from what I saw, the pump is an additional $50. So a $500 price tag for a boat might be a little too much for someone to take on to begin with. So you could always go and add the pump to the boat later on down the road. But here, let me show you the other stuff that comes with it. There's the box that it comes in, and here are the retrieval arms. So what you do is you put this long post through the front of the boat, attach these arms to the side, and you'll be able to retrieve up to a 48-inch boat, which is pretty cool. They give you some Velcro for the battery, some paperwork, instruction manual to go through, and then this radio system here. And this, I am not too thrilled about this, guys, especially with everything coming with Spectrum radios now from Horizon. We've got this tiny little radio system here. At least it does have a foam steering wheel. It is a 3-channel. I mean, it's got your trim dials up top, but really kind of wish there was maybe the SLT radio in here or something like that. We'll have to see how this works. Maybe it works just fine. Maybe I don't need to harp on it that much, but this should be a lot of fun. Let's head out to the lake. I'm gonna grab an extra boat so we can see how it works as a retrieval boat and have some fun with the Horizon Harbor Tug. All right, guys, been having a blast with the Horizon Harbor tug. Now it's time to show you the retrieval system in action. I've already got the cross post in on the front bracket, and I've got the arms set up. Those are adjustable, so I'll just go and push the tug out. I'll push our retrieval, or our retrieval subject out there. It's gonna be our sonic wake. We'll just spin this thing around, pretend that the battery is dead over here. There we go. And now we'll just go retrieve it with the tug. Spin this thing around. All right, that's full throttle right there. The arms just kind of push through the water. They don't go under the water. It's not going fast enough for that. But it's super maneuverable. I'll show you in a minute here. I mean, you could just spin this thing right around, making retrieval nice and easy. Come in, make sure we line up. Perfect. Look at that. And now just bring it right to me. How easy is that? Super cool. Love this boat. All right, it's time to wrap up the review of the Horizon Harbor tug, and this was just relaxing to drive. Yes, it's really slow, but it makes it relaxing. You just kind of stand by the water, enjoy it, trolling around, and I really just had a lot of fun. In fact, I brought it to multiple ponds just to enjoy the nature around me and watching this thing, again, troll through the water. It is really good looking out there. I mean, I think they did a great job with the detail on this. The scale factor is totally there. Now, for those of you that may be interested in it as a retrieval boat, it really excels there. Let me kind of talk about the performance since it's combined. This thing is very maneuverable. So when I went out to use it as a retrieval boat, I put the arms on the front of it. It just scooped the boat right up and brought it back to shore really easily. The drive system on here just makes it super maneuverable, and it has the power to push the boat back with ease. Even when I went to a pond that had kind of a rolling waterfall to it, this thing powered through the ripples coming off that waterfall, and I really had to get close to really upset this thing to where it was swept back out into the pond. But this, again, I think it's got some great uses to it. One, it will look good on the shelf. Two, it looks cool just, you know, driving it around as is as a scale tugboat. And three, it is definitely a great retrieval system. You know, it's a $450 price tag retrieval system, but you'll get multiple use out of it. So I think it is a great buy. It runs for a very long time. I went to multiple ponds with it, probably totaling over you know, an hour of run time, brought it back to the workshop here, threw the battery on a meter, and it was at 72%. So I think you could get a couple hours out of driving this thing. The things that you do need to watch out for on this boat though, during my initial check before I went out to the pond, I did notice the set screw that secures the coupler to the prop shaft was loose. So if I had gone out there and drove it in the water, I probably would have needed a retrieval boat for my retrieval boat. That set screw probably would have backed out. So definitely check your boat if you do pick one of these up. The other thing is the boat takes on a lot of water, and I'm not exactly sure where to tell you to look where it's coming in. It might be coming in from this back hatch here, but the hull was full of water when I checked it about a half hour into my run, to the point where the motor was half submerged, so it was running cool because it was being water cooled. But definitely take a look at that. If you're going out for long trolls through the water, I'd say bring it back in here and there, dump the boat out, and you do have to flip it over to do that. But I'm not exactly sure where it's coming from. It might just be part of this boat, and you have to be aware of it. The radio system on here, it actually functioned just fine. So although it looks kind of dinky, it does work, and you know, I don't have any complaints about it. Same with the speed controller receiver unit that's in there. I think it works just fine too. It doesn't need a replacement, so it worked fine for this boat. I really enjoyed it. In fact, my boys, they wanted to drive it. You know, they usually don't want to drive boats, but once they saw this thing, they wanted to try it out as well, and they had a blast with it. I think I want to install the water pump on there. I think it would just bump up the fun factor. Let me know if I should get that in the comment section below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up review. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. It might be fun to add that to this boat. If you like the boat, head down to your local hobby shop to grab one. I'll have some affiliate links in the description below. While you're down there, please hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.